As we know, Donald likes trucks and construction stuff. So it should not surprise us that he's trying to drive a bulldozer over our democracy. But it looks like some people just are not sitting down and taking it anymore. Thank goodness. They're making it known nobody respects him. And of course, he needs to be stopped. Earlier today, there was a rather disturbing but pointed video being televised at the Department of Housing and Urban Development. I apologize in advance for the imagery. This is a trigger warning. Avert your eyes if you must. Take a look. I warned you. I warned you. Yikes. Yeah, we were hoping the sacks would kind of ease the pain. I'm not sure it worked. Anyway, why did that happen? Well, a hacker with an interesting sense of humor was able to break into the HUD and play that across department television screens. Again, with the caption, "Long live the real king," referring, of course, to fledgling dictator Elon Musk. Well, okay. The just deeply disturbing imagery aside, that's bad. I mean, I don't know if it's an indication of the kind of incel, tech bro, dude bro hacker mentality that is sort of spreading throughout Elon Musk's little fiefdom, or if because of all of this very dangerous shit they're screwing around with is making it easier for people who shouldn't be to hack into our systems. That's a government agency in which that happened today. So look, I'm not judging what was going on in that video. I don't care. But the two people depicted in that was a very, very clear message that was being sent. Donald Trump is not in charge of anything. He's certainly not a leader. Elon Musk is the one with the keys to that kingdom that Donald so desperately craves. And, well, I'm pretty sure the rest speaks for itself. So I want to take some time today to just talk about some significant losses being suffered by the Trump regime, because that's important too. Uh, and also, it's really easy and we love it. Before we get there, however, please make sure to like and share this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And after you do so, click on the bell icon. That way you will be alerted every single time new episodes drop. All right, let's take a look at what's happening at the Supreme Court. Last Friday, the Supreme Court, including the corrupt, illegitimate supermajority, apparently, upheld a federal judge's order requiring Donald temporarily to reinstate Hampton Dellinger as head of the Office of Special Counsel for 14 days, starting February 12th. Why so long? Sometimes I just do not understand these things. The court did not act on Donald's request to deny that reinstatement. Take a look.
Just got an important ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court on President Trump's attempt to remove a top federal watchdog.
This is the very first Supreme Court test of Donald Trump's second-term agenda. And I can tell you that the justices already were struggling. They essentially punted. This case, as you said, involved President Trump's ability to remove an appointee of President Biden who should have been able to serve a full 5-year term. He was just appointed last year, but Donald Trump is trying to remove this man. And lower courts had put a pause on Donald Trump's effort. He had come to the Supreme Court, then appealing, and the justices said, we're not going to quite decide yet. We're going to let this man, Hampton Dellinger, who's over this watchdog agency, stay in place for now, But we're going to revisit this probably after next Wednesday, when a lower court is going to have a hearing on the merits of this case over whether President Trump can remove this individual.
Seriously, why make a decision? Which should be an obvious one. Well, it's because the corrupt, illegitimate supermajority of the Supreme Court are a bunch of cowards. They're picking their battles. They're biding their time until they have a better opportunity to come in and undo yet another precedent. Who needs stare decisis, right? Fuck that. Anyway, the attempted firing of Dellinger is just part of Donald's bigger purge of federal employees, which has been running amok this week. The only qualifications Donald values in government are blind loyalty to him and aversion to facts that are not complimentary to him. And he hates competence and professionalism. As reported, lower courts had already blocked the firing, citing executive overreach. But as we saw, Donald tried to get the corrupt, illegitimate supermajority to do his bidding yet again. And why wouldn't he have that expectation? Because they always have. Here's the problem, though. The court's ruling is temporary. As I said, 14 days. The restraining order expires on Wednesday, February 26th. So we will be keeping an eye on this one because that decision is going to be an extremely important one. Today, a federal judge ruled that DOGE cannot access sensitive Education Department and Office of Personnel Management data. Why? Because handing over personal records of millions of Americans to Musk's little incel tech dude bro crew would be bad. And apparently, who knew? It's illegal. Yeah, we knew. Anyway, Judge Deborah Boardman ruled that DOGE's access was both reckless and unauthorized, marking yet another legal defeat for Donald's federal purge. Luckily, Judge Boardman was not the only judge to erect blockades against DOGE. As we know, on February 21st of 2025, a federal judge banned DOGE operatives from accessing Treasury Department payment systems, which sounds like a very good idea. Judge Jeanette A. Vargas ruled that DOGE's access created a realistic danger of security breaches. The Trump regime, of course, lied about Musk's minions' level of access, claiming it was read-only. But in reality, one DOGE staffer had full read-write privileges, now being stopped by Vargas's preliminary injunction. Great, all good. I have no doubt we will be seeing more rulings like this because it is evident on its face that this stuff is wrong, illegal, and dangerous and reckless, right? We know this. It's important to remember from Elon Musk on down, these people are unelected, unconfirmed, unvetted, no FBI background checks. They have no business being anywhere near, let alone in, our government with access to Americans' most secret and private data. Okay, now let's look at Donald's humiliation internationally, because that's fun. Last night, the man on track to be Germany's new chancellor, Friedrich Merz, declared Europe must achieve independence from the United States. Words that I never thought I would hear in my lifetime. Accusing Donald of aligning with Russia and showing indifference towards Europe's security because he knows what he's talking about. Let's watch this clip.
My absolute priority will be to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible, so that step by step we can really achieve independence from the United States.
Von Donald Trump ist klar, dass den Amerikanern
But at the very least, after Donald Trump's statements last week, it is clear that the Americans, at least this part of the Americans in this administration, are largely indifferent to the fate of Europe.
I think indifferent is maybe not strong enough a word. They're hostile to it, actually. But I'm quite relieved that Merz is now in power. He suggested that Europe may need a new defense structure. I concur. Questioning whether NATO will survive past its June summit, which should alarm everybody. He also proposed nuclear cooperation between France, the UK, and Germany to replace the US nuclear umbrella. Also alarming. Merz also condemned Elon Musk for endorsing Germany's far-right AfD party. That is a party of fascists, by the way, comparing U.S. election interference to Russian tactics. Facing a fractured Europe and a weakened President Emmanuel Macron of France, Merz is pushing to form a government quickly in order to solidify European Union against growing US and Russian pressure. I'm going to repeat that. The new Chancellor of Germany is pushing to form a government quickly in order to solidify European Union unity, I should say, against growing US and Russian pressure. Something else I never thought I'd have to say out loud in my lifetime. So that's bad. But what does it mean exactly? Well, it means that Europeans understand something and most Americans don't seem to, and certainly the fascist Republican Party don't seem to. America is no longer Europe's ally. America is no longer NATO's ally. America is a wholly owned subsidiary of Vladimir Putin's murderous Russian regime. Also, I think it's worth pointing out that Musk was not the only American, well, whatever he is. I don't even know what he is, actually. He's just some slacker who was bored and needed a hobby. And since he's an idiot, incapable of creating anything, he decided to take on the destruction of the United States in his apparently vast amounts of spare time. But other people, like the guy who's vice president, whose name I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, J.D. Vance, also support this fascist party in Germany. So that party now has the imprimatur of America, which kind of makes sense because we're being run by a fascist regime of our own. Okay, let's get back to the home front. Republican lawmakers thought that they could breeze through town halls, shake a few hands, be really insincere, lie a lot, spin Donald's really breathtakingly reckless policies as necessary reforms. Sure, you know what they always do. Instead, thankfully, they're being heckled, they're being booed, and they're being called out by their voters. In deep red districts, constituents are demanding answers about things like the mass firings, Donald's authoritarian power grabs, and budget cuts that seem not just completely unnecessary, but designed to hurt Americans. The best part, of course, is that Republicans have absolutely no response to any of this. So I want you to check out Representative Mark Alford, a Republican of Missouri, answering constituents' questions at a town hall. Take a look.
Elon Musk has contracts with the federal government. But he is also, I think, doing an effective job.
Conflict of interest! Show me!
I know there are a lot of people who don't want to see waste, abuse, and fraud weeded out. Some of them here today.
I don't want him in charge of it.
But he is appointed by the
police fraud
president,
and
the chief executive, who can appoint whoever he can appoint you.
I thought it was your job. It is your job.
Elon Musk and the president have agreed that if there is any potential conflict of interest,
It is your job.
and it's clear here today that some people don't believe that would happen. And that's
It
okay.
is your
You're
job.
free in the next election to elect someone that you believe.
We didn't elect Elon. There's waste Elon before the next election.
Oh boy, that is the last town hall that idiot's ever going to hold. Listen, Alfred, you know, if you're going to hold a town hall as a member of the House of Representatives, you should probably realize that people aren't as stupid as you are, and they actually know what's going on. They know that you actually aren't doing your job anymore. So the question remains, why are we paying you? On February 22nd, 2025, Representative Glenn Grotham, a Republican of Wisconsin, faced backlash from constituents in Northeast Wisconsin. He struggled to defend Donald's executive orders and spending cuts because they're indefensible. Voters demanded accountability and called for more resistance against Trump's regime and its reckless fiscal policies. Good. Again, this is what needs to be happening more. It needs to be happening everywhere, even in blue districts, because quite honestly, come on, Democrats, show us what you've got. What are you going to do to counter these feckless traitors who have just said, you want it? Take it. No, sorry, I'm not qualifying this. The two least worthy people on the planet. And by virtue of the power that has been so recklessly handed to them, the two most dangerous. So we're seeing these are early signs of a growing backlash against the Trump regime and its overreach. People are really noticing all of these things that are happening, the court losses, the pushback from allied forces, citizens rising up in town halls, even that disturbing video that we are only seeing because somebody was able to hack into a government agency. All of it's a reflection of something deeper. The American people are onto them. They're not just tired of Donald Trump, although why it took so long is mystifying to me. And they're tired of Elon Musk, yes, but more than that, they are alarmed by them. They are desperately worried about what these two vile miscreants are doing to their country and their democracy, their livelihoods, and their lives. So good. Finally, American citizens are getting the message. According to polls, Musk is not as popular as he thinks he is. Well, okay, that's also not very surprising, but check this out.
This comes as polling shows a majority of Americans actually disapprove of the way that Musk is carrying out his job. A recent Washington Post Ipsos poll found that just 34% of Americans said they approve of how Musk is handling his job, compared to 49% who disapprove. And in a recent Quinnipiac University poll, 55% of respondents said Musk has too much power in making decisions affecting the United States.
Well, 34 and 36%, that's way too high a number, but okay, at least we're heading in the right direction. He is way underwater. I imagine Donald is getting there too. So let's take that with us. But remember, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't necessarily mean too much. Yes, it will get under his skin. It will bother him because this is how they measure their worth, polls and money. But is it going to change anything? And that is what we, all of us together, are going to have to figure out. Please take a second and like and share this video. It'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.